Okay, so we've marked a class worth of work. Now let's have a look at some of the analytics that we can do. Once we're into the Gutmann chart, we need to select the data set. I'm going to use the summative data set for this example. And we need to run the Gutmann macro by clicking on this icon. While that's running, it seems to be going a little bit slow tonight. You notice there's a new icon that you can click on, which is the dashboard icon. And what the dashboard's going to do is it's going to analyze the range of scores, and based on a histogram function, it's going to think about what sort of groups it can put these students into, and then it's going to tell us what common skills those groups need assistance with. So let's have a go at that. So you'll notice that it's grouped the students into four groups, and it's going to take us over to the dashboard page. And the dashboard's telling us that we're currently viewing the summative data. If we want to view the formative data, that we have to go back and check out the Gutmann. So if you're ever unsure what data you're looking at, it will change depending on summative or formative. Down here, you'll see that it's put the students into the groups. It's got group 1, 2, 3, we've got 4 groups. And it's got the student names in those groups. And it's decided that these are the skills that this particular group of students need to work on. It's given you the skill group title. It hasn't told you the exact skill. I'll show you how you can drill down and have a look and see exactly what skill. But basically, this group of students need to work on their punctuation, their spelling, narrative structure, and nominal groups. Decided to go with 4. We can reduce that to 3, but because 4 is probably a little bit too many, but 4 gives you a bit of a choice. This group here needs to work on characterization, nominal groups, verb selection, and narrative structure as well, but probably for different reasons. Just a bit more of a tour of the dashboard pages. You've got the results here in terms of the formative results, so their level statement for writing, and then also their summative score, so you can put those scores straight into the LMS. And although it's not 100% working at the moment, you can scroll through and see student by student how many skills each student was able to grow between formative and summative. It's supposed to also show you the class average, but that doesn't appear to be working at this point. So you can have a look and see which students grew by how many skills, and so on and so forth. So once you've got these groups, you can do something a little bit more detailed. If we're back on the Gutmann page, you'll notice that the groups are highlighted now in colors, and these numbers here are just a reference in terms of where the groups begin and end. But what we now can be interested in is we can go down here and have a look at this new little table which has arrived, and we've got those groups here for ease of access as well. So we can see this is group 1, here are the names of those kids, group 2, and so on. So what we can do here, what this is telling us is that it's saying that for each of these skill descriptors, so these skill points, it tells you what percentage of the students in that particular group, so these students over here, in group 1, these students here, how many of those were able to achieve that skill. And as you can see, 100% of them were able to achieve the skill. The first skill that they start to have trouble with is this one here, 3.1.2. You can see only 28.5% of them were able to get that skill. Now I'd say one of those skills is going to be our first one, 3.1 punctuation. But if you want to see exactly what 3.1.2 is, you can just go up to the top of your rubric there, your Gutmann, there, and you can see that it's this skill. I can use punctuation correctly. Now this is a junior rubric, so some of these skills aren't going to be particularly exciting. You can see then 3.2.2, only 42% of them were able to get that one. That's spelling correctly. The next one, 2.1.3, only 14%. That is narrative structure, and only 14% were even able to experiment. Were able to experiment with narrative structure. 2.1.3, that's a high level on that skill point. So, sorry to go into too much detail about those skills there, but basically what you can see now is the macro has grouped the students, and it's told you broadly what skill groups they need to work on. But if you want to dig a bit deeper and do a bit of manual stuff yourself, you can see a little bit clearer, particularly the difference between the groups. So group 1, they get right through to this skill before they start to drop off. Group 2, they only get through these 3 skills, or maybe a bit more than that, and then they start to drop off around about here. And then group 3, they're dropping off much earlier, and they're dropping quite quickly as well, so right down to 0 in terms of the number of students in that group who are able to actually achieve that skill. This group here is a bit not really that useful because these 2 students didn't actually complete the assessment, so they didn't score anything. But you can see there that you can really start to drill in a bit deeper in terms of what specific skills and what percentage of the students in that group were able to achieve those skills. So that's how the dashboard works.